Wizards. Trailblazers and the Heat. Everybody is familiar with the situation regarding Jimmy Butler and the colorways for Butler's sneakers. Those would fit out in the valley, wouldn't they? Yeah, hard to ignore that. Duncan Robinson finds Butler. He buries the three. Miami up 4 after 1. Anthony Simons. Little two-man game with Scoot. Simons hits the 3. Game tied at 46. And then it's Simons off the DeAndre Ayton screen. He had 17 in the first half. Blazers leading. They got an 8-point lead into the third. Off the steal, Jeremy Grant. Feed the big man on the run. Ayton hits. Portland up 10. Blazers. Defense to offense again. Shaedon Sharpe. High flyer. Actually, he throws it to Ayton, who is very tall as well. 18th double-double this season. Butler goes to the bench. Does not return for the rest of the game. There's Simons and Heat at 21 and 21. I wonder how much longer is this going to go on. And this is long overdue. Shams Charania on the program. I haven't had the opportunity to have you come on and talk about news that's breaking, and we get to do it now with an eye on this Butler situation. And we've seen, Shams, deals that get made that lead to deals that are larger down the road. Is that kind of what we're looking at here in terms of Phoenix acquiring some ones and a deal with Utah? What's going on there?
So, Scott, essentially it's them getting more assets to play with right now, and they're trading away their 2031 first-round pick to get 3 lesser favorable first-round picks. So over the next 6 years, really unlocking their draft. They don't have a pick that's so far out into the future. They have picks to play with right now, multiple picks. And Jimmy Butler is a player that we've reported on for the last month and a half, that he has wanted a trade out of Miami. The Suns are atop his list of preferred destinations. And the Suns, if they're going to complete a deal for Jimmy Butler, it's likely going to be something that's going to take 3, 4, 5 team potential trades from what I'm hearing. And to do that, you have to have enough assets to sufficiently make adequate all these other teams. And we still don't know. Will those 3 first-round picks that they've acquired, will that be enough? But both sides are kind of balancing leverage. The Suns making this deal to better position themselves for a player they know they're in a win-now, all-in situation. They need a player like Jimmy Butler to put next to Kevin Durant and Devin Booker to try to compete in that Western Conference. And for the Heat, we're seeing they've struggled the last couple games, and Jimmy Butler, there's just something that seems a little off. And whether it's the word distraction, lack of clarity, chaos that Tyler Hero used a couple weeks ago, they have to make a decision here soon.
Well, I think we can connect the dots on what the issues are, man. I mean, it just becomes untenable, and the player always wins in this league. He's going to get traded because that's just how it goes. But Phoenix has got to have assets. And the thing I'm curious, and I understand you can't know the unknowable, like it's a blank next to those ones. You don't know what number it is. But if I'm Miami and I'm looking at that, cool, they're ones. But if they're on the back end, what am I getting? Because I can't move you if my get back has got to be something that makes me feel okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, could that even be enough?
And if the Suns had multiple of those first-round picks of their own, like a 2031, a 2032, 2033, some other first that you can play with of their own, maybe there is a much more acceptable offer that you can make right now. But at this point, there's no deal that's going to happen one-to-one between the Suns and the Heat. You're going to need multiple teams, and that's where the Suns are really putting this bet down on this trade that we can now go out and get a guy like Jimmy Butler. They've gone all in, not only on Jimmy Butler, but using these picks to benefit and better this team. There are some big questions that loom for the Suns over the next couple weeks.
It's interesting, though, like Matt Ishbia, right? Like, people around the league know this guy's all in, so that, like, it almost puts you in a position of strength. Like, when everyone knows you're aggressive, I wonder if it's like playing poker with somebody, right? If you know someone's super aggressive, you know, how do you play them? I don't even play poker, but I don't know if this analogy falls short, but, like, that's his rep, right? This is an aggressive ownership.
Scott, his first day on the job as Phoenix Suns owner in 2023 was going out and getting Kevin Durant. That's the first day, and he put multiple players in there, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, a ton of first-round picks, swaps. He went all in on Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, and you have to give the Suns and Matt Ishbia, the owner, this. They've gone all in to try to win and compete, but players clearly have a desire about playing with Kevin Durant, of playing in Phoenix, And this is a guy in Jimmy Butler who wants to be in Phoenix. Now, will a trade happen? We'll see. But there's clearly an all-in approach there with the Suns. But it's at some point they have to really see the standings and see where they fall in that between now and the trade deadline and make the best decision. Right now, they are all in on trying to win and compete, and that's trying to go get Jimmy Butler.
That's 16 days away, by the way, the trade deadline, February 6th. The man left the Laker game, but they're playing the Wizards. Look, I'm from there. I can make fun of them. But I appreciate you, Shams, leaving to have a seat and chat with us. I look forward to doing it more through the future. It's great to have you on our squad, man. Thank you.
Scott, appreciate you, and congrats to your Commanders as well.
How about that, right? We still got games to play.
Did I say this song right? Whoa. All right, this weekend, Jimmy Butler made his return after a 7-game suspension. He did wear Jordan's number 45 jersey heading into this one on Friday night. This was after his agent put out that press release a la David Falk saying, "I'm back." On Friday, the Heat lost by 20 to the Nuggets. Butler had 18 in the contest, but on Sunday, when they beat the Spurs, Jimmy had 8. So, Shams, you've been covering every twist and turn of this story over the last couple of months. There is still a trade hope, right? That's where we stand now, that Jimmy Butler hopes to leave Miami. But is there a trade on the table?
Here's where it's at. Jimmy Butler has tripled down on his trade request.
Okay.
Earlier this month, he did it to Pat Riley's face, and then last week, he did it to Mickey Arison, the team owner, and the CEO, Nick Arison. And I'm told the Heat have had some productive conversations on a potential Butler trade this week. But this is a big number to move, $49 million on his contract this year, $52 million player option for the offseason. So whatever deal ends up happening, is it going to be just a 2-team trade, 3-team trade, 4-team trade? Really, everything is a possibility. But in the meantime, Jimmy Butler is clocking in. He's playing basketball. The easiest way to put this is everyone in that building knows exactly what's up.
Everyone in the building knows exactly what's up. And Jimmy's back on the floor, which I imagine he's got to continue to, as you said, be professional, play, right, in order for his trade value to go up. Heat fans don't want to talk about this. Heat fans want to talk about Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware and how they look on the floor. But I'm going to ask you, Chiney, your impression seeing Jimmy back on the court with those two.
Have to be a professional.
Right.
Have to be a professional. One thing that I do like, their last game, I think everyone's getting the notice. Hey, minutes are up for grab. They had 73 bench points coming off of this last win. But you said something, Shams, that piqued my attention. You said it's a big number to move. $595,000. That's how much he gets paid per game. So, yeah, if you sit for that corner, he's like, I'm serving that corner back to the court. If you do sort of try to make trouble and you have to sit out, you're missing out on big money. And I think that's why he has to be a professional. And his teammates are still good enough to carry them through. Even though they may not win as many games if he was in peak form, they're still winning some. And I think you're starting to see the pieces of the future. We had a really cool graphic. I'm not sure if our producer, our researcher, J-Joe, had it, but it showed the January of these Heat players. And it just is really good because they're finding different players to step up. Tyler Hero leading in points per game. Bam Adebayo leading in rebounds per game, assists per game. Look at this right here. They are spreading the wealth. We see you working, J-Joe, and our producers. Thank you, Andy. But look at this. Everything highlighted in red is the leader in that category, especially looking at January. They have turned the corner. You can see it right here.
You know, and I'm going to even go forward. He's getting moved, but because I trust you. If you're saying that there's a bunch of things, something's going to happen. I'm really curious to who that guy is going to be and how he fits in. And you got these young players that are pretty exciting and got some good years ahead of them. But, like, who's the guy?
Well, and how can, after you start a season this way, right, how can you refocus whenever that happens and move past this? If there's any culture that can absorb it,
should be this one.
Ding, ding, ding. It should be the Miami
back
Heat.
With that money.
Right. So that's going to be
a lot of
them. That's what I'm saying.
Coming up on it.
All right, hopefully everybody is doing great. A happy Tuesday. We're actually doing this on my phone. I've tried videoing this on my computer about 900 times. I think I've just wasted 30 minutes that I'll never get back in my life. So I figured we would do it on my phone. Hopefully everyone is great. Phoenix, Utah trade, a rarity, that a trade involving no players at all, but we're looking at draft picks. We would give a little bit of perspective from Phoenix's side and certainly from the Jazz's side of this. Remember, Phoenix woke up this morning having one first-round pick in the next 7 years to trade in 2031. They had a 2025 second from Denver. That was it. That was their draft equity for a team that has continually pushed their chips to the middle. So how do you take a 2031 first and break it up into three different draft assets? How you do it is you make a phone call to the Utah Jazz or maybe the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Brooklyn Nets, teams that are loaded with first-round picks, and they say, I'll give you our 31 unprotected for 3 first-round picks, okay? One in 2025, which is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is at 29 or 30. The least favorable in 2027 of Utah, Mini, or Cleveland. And in 2029, least favorable of Utah, Cleveland, and Minnesota. And Minnesota if it's 6 to 30. And what that does is that unlocks a lot of different optionality as far as what we have available to go out and make a trade. Instead of having one crack at the apple, we've got 3 cracks at the apple. Instead of taking one big bite out of the pizza pie, we can take 3 bites out of the pizza pie here. And that's what Phoenix has done. And if you think Phoenix is not all in and they're going to pivot away from Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, you are wrong. This trade just rubber stamps it that Phoenix is in business to try to go swing for the fences and try to turn around a season where they're hanging on for dear life for one of their final play-in spots, a season where they've got Brooklyn tomorrow and then Washington the next day, and we might look at the standings a week from now and they might be sitting in 6. That's the reality in the Western Conference when you're looking at it from 6 to the play-in. The team's all bunched in there. So what is next with Phoenix? We'll certainly keep an eye on Bradley Beal. We'll keep an eye on Jusuf Nurkic. Do I think Miami now all of a sudden says, you know what? We're going to take those 3 first-round picks with the $111 million owed to Bradley Beal. I think that's not going to happen. It's still a non-starter with the money. But that doesn't mean there's a 3rd or 4th team saying, you know what? We'll take a player with one of those picks, and the 2 picks go with Beal somewhere. So keep an eye what happens with Bradley Beal. For Utah, bravo. A terrific trade for the Utah Jazz. Quality over quantity. 13 first-round picks coming in. They looked at, okay, we've got a Cleveland pick, which is at 30 right now. Can we trade that with 2 other things and get the golden ticket of draft picks, which is that 2031 Phoenix first? The best of draft equity that any team can have is now in the hands of the Utah Jazz. And they've got 11 first-round picks in the next 7 years, including 2 this year. 1 could be a lottery pick based on what happens in Minnesota. So there is a lot to like if you're Utah as far as from a draft pick accumulation. We'll see. Maybe the next team is Milwaukee, who only has a 2031 first. Maybe Oklahoma City calls them up and says, you know what? We want that type of deal here. But when you look at Utah, 2 picks in 25, 1 in 26. They can swap with Cleveland or Mini that year. 3 in 27. They still got that Lakers first, 5 to 30. If it's 5 to 30, they can swap in 28 with Cleveland. 2 in 29, 1 in 30, and then of course 2 in 2031. A great deal for Utah. I understand it from Phoenix perspective. Been there, done it. Listen, when you have a sense of somewhat desperation and all in, you continually push the envelope. And I think certainly what Phoenix has done is they are pushing the envelope, and I understand why. We'll see what happens next. We'll see if the next move is Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler that involves 4 or 5 teams. Keep an eye on that.
Hey, what's up guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports here. So Phoenix Suns have pretty much targeted Jimmy Butler for quite some time. And it turns out that Jimmy Butler is on his way to Phoenix. That is most likely his destination, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen before February 6th. It might even happen tomorrow or tonight or the next day. But regardless, he is going to go to Phoenix because of the fact that Phoenix Suns made a trade with the Utah Jazz, trading their 2031 first-round pick for 3 other picks before that. And now you're probably thinking, why would you trade 1 pick for 3 picks? Because those 3 picks are pretty much worth nothing compared to the 2031 first round pick. So now the Phoenix Suns have a couple of second rounders, 3 first rounders, which they can include in a trade. Now you're probably also wondering, is this going to be going to Miami? Maybe some of them, but it all depends on Bradley Beal. So the current construction of this trade rumor is the Milwaukee Bucks would get Bradley Beal. They would trade Pat Connaughton and Bobby Portis to the Toronto Raptors. Raptors would then go ahead and trade Bruce Brown, apparently, and a couple picks to the Miami Heat. And a lot of, obviously, everything would go towards Miami, but I'm not loving this trade package that's going to Miami. I don't think it's any good. Like, for everyone that's involved, right, all you're doing is getting picks. You're not getting that much compared to what, I don't know, Denver would have gave up. If Denver would have agreed to give up Michael Porter Jr., I would have chose that trade package as opposed to this one. But here we are right now. Bradley Beal, however, he has pretty much stated that he is open to waiving his no trade clause. So the second he said, I'm open to waiving my no trade clause, you knew something was happening. You know it's going to take place tonight, tomorrow, or the next day. So that being said, is it just Milwaukee? No, it's not just Milwaukee. He said Milwaukee, LA, or Miami. We all know nobody in Miami wants Bradley Beal. Nobody. Right? So it's not going to be him because no one wants to take on that contract. It could be Milwaukee. Who knows? Right? I've been hearing Milwaukee. It could be one of the LA teams. I can't see the Lakers getting involved with Bradley Beal. I just can't see that because he's owed that much money. They're going to be a second apron team. I don't buy it. Can it be the Clippers? Who knows? Right? Are they going to take a chance on trading James Harden? I have no idea. I doubt it. I really doubt that's going to happen. So I don't know. I'm reading the tea leaves here, and I'm thinking Bradley Beal is going to end up in Milwaukee. And to shed money, Milwaukee Bucks are going to trade away Pat Connaughton and one Bobby Portis. And all the picks from Milwaukee and all the picks from Phoenix are somewhat going to go transfer over to Miami because Miami doesn't want to deal with no picks. I mean, no expiring, other deals kind of thing. They would take on Chris Middleton because he's an expiring deal. But the fact that you want financial flexibility as what Miami has been hinting the entire time. So if you get, Chris Middleton, his contract comes off the books and you get a bunch of picks. So I don't know. My question is, did Miami, if this deal goes down, are you guys loving this trade or not? This is what's transpiring so far, and sooner rather than later, it's going to take place. Milwaukee, Miami, Phoenix, and Toronto Raptors. As of right now, Jimmy Butler is pretty much on his way to the Phoenix Suns. Not official, but it's most likely going to happen if these rumors are true. Like, come on. Phoenix doesn't pull this kind of deal with the Utah Jazz for nothing. There's obviously something in the works. You're about to find out. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you guys think. Is this deal any good for Miami? And if it's not, what other trade package do you suggest? This is Jag from Jaggy Sports.